All right, let's do drama queens and energy vampires. We kind of talked a little bit about drama queens in that last one, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the energy vampire bit comes about because it's just so exhausting to deal with somebody like that, and it's kind of what you were just describing, this up and downness, that sort of 1 minute she's like this, then the next minute she's like that. It's really exhausting. And it's actually a form of passive aggressiveness, actually. I've actually read books or articles, not as part of this space, but by more sort of mainstream kind of, relationship advisors. And they would actually deem it to be abusive if somebody treats you in that manner. If you've got somebody who, say, giving the silent treatment, for example, I mean, this is a really classic thing, isn't it? She's obviously upset about something. You've done something and you say to her, so what's wrong? And she just won't tell you. And you're like, no, come on, what's wrong? Why are you being like this? Yeah.
I'm fine.
And she's like that. She says, I'm fine. And then she just won't talk to you. And it goes on for hours and hours and hours. I mean, on the one hand, you could just say, well, that's just, how she is or whatever. But actually, really, it's a form of passive aggressive behavior. And it's actually quite, with an emphasis perhaps on the aggressiveness, actually, because it makes the other person feel really bad. And arguably, it's kind of abusive. So really, you don't want to be putting up with that on a long-term basis. I mean, if it happens time and again, then if it happens occasionally, fine, whatever. But like, if that's happening on a consistent basis, then most importantly, it's sapping your energy and it's sapping your mental space that could better be devoted to something else, because a lot of this stuff is crap. A lot of this stuff is like, oh, well, you didn't do the washing up 3 weeks ago. And then, I had to go and buy the milk and it's all nonsense. Mm-hmm. It's all just rubbish, and this is one of the problems I found with relationships in my life, that you get dragged into this domestic minutiae, which when oh, we didn't go to see my parents last weekend and now we're going to see your parents, and it's all nonsense that's got nothing to do with your key purpose in life, whatever that might be. And I just keep coming back to the same thing. It's like, well, I'm only here for a few more decades. I'm going to be dead quite soon. There are certain things I want to accomplish in my life. Is arguing about this stuff going to get me nearer to those things or further away? And inevitably, the answer is it's going to get me further away.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good way of framing it, because I actually cover drama queens. I more or less coined them hissy fits, because that's really what they are. They like, women will throw hissy fits when they don't know how to process stress or moments in the relationship that they can't control or they can't, adapt to. And hissy fits come in all kinds of different forms. Like you said, it could be passive aggressive stuff. It could be something as extreme as, we'll just leave all my shit on the front porch and I'm going to come pick it up and F you, sort of thing. Right.
Yeah.
And, they want to try to put their foot down to show that they've got some frame or something going on. And really the best way to deal with it is just to soft next it. You get drama that shows up in your life, you soft next it, you just withdraw your attention, because we know that attention is the coin of the realm when it comes to women. And when you remove the attention, you set a firm boundary, essentially saying, look, if you want to behave this way, fine. I'm not going to give you any of my attention. She's going to call you. She's going to text you. She might even try to show up. You just ignore it all. And it's as simple as that. Energy vampires, you're going to know when you're around an energy vampire, because when you spend time with them, and this also goes for guys as well too, employees, business partners. I mean, you'll start to notice this throughout life. When you spend time with somebody, it could be a few hours, it could be an afternoon, for example, but when you spend time with them, you feel drained after it. You feel exhausted being around their personality and the sort of conversations that they want to have. You don't feel energized. Like, when I have a conversation with Troy, if we do a cast, we did a cast last week on his channel, and we talk about stuff and we kind of chop up ideas. I feel good after the conversation, right? I want to have another conversation with Troy and kind of dive down a different rabbit hole, or maybe, take a look at something else. So he's not an energy vampire. If anything, the guy charges my batteries, and I hope that he gets the same sort of energy from me back on the end of it. But you will know when you're around energy vampires, because you're just going to feel exhausted by the end of that day.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're feeling that, then you need to get out of it. But again, you see, this is one of the things that abundance is so important, right? Because if you're a guy that doesn't have much abundance, if you're a guy who doesn't feel that his options are that extensive, then it's more likely that earlier on in your life, you're going to get locked down with a woman who's like this, and you're probably going to end up like moving in with her, or, you know, whatever, or even, God forbid, getting married to her. And then you're screwed, or at least you're in a much more difficult position than you would be if you kept your options open, at least for a period of time.